Hello, good morning, and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. We have two no age stated 90 proof straight rye whiskies. This is Bulleit Rye 95 rye, 95% rye, 5% malted barley, no age statement. Introduced in 2011, produced in Indiana for Diageo. Diageo, the owners of Bulleit since the year 2000, bought from Seagram's, who had bought it out in like the late 80s from the original Bulleit family. But anyway, so interestingly enough, it's produced at a distillery that still says Seagram's on the smokestacks and the side of the walls all over the place. It was the Seagram's distillery, which still produces Seagram's Seven Crown whiskey. But it's owned by Midwest Grain Products. Seagram's no longer an actual company. But beyond that, it's produced in Indiana for Diageo, Bulleit. But it's not from Kentucky. It's, if you want to get technical, Indiana straight rye whiskey. It says American straight rye. Straight American rye whiskey. Distilled in Indiana, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. All right. Runs about $22.95 at Total Wine and More. $22.79. Sorry, $22.79 right now. Today at Total Wine and More, I got it for $10 at Walmart. True story. $10 full size bottle at Walmart. Incredible. Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. This new version, they replaced the old Jim Beam Rye, which I don't know what the recipe was, and I don't know what I think it was 80 proof, the old one. But I'm not going to talk about the old Jim Beam Rye because I knew nothing about it. This is the new, and they say improved Jim Beam Rye, pre-prohibition recipe, they claim. And then eventually it'll focus, I guess. Don't give the rye percentage, so we don't know. We just don't know. No age statement, so we just don't know. It's 90 proof, so we do know that. If it'll focus, I'd be a happy guy. There it goes. Finally. Jim Beam rye pre-prohibition style. Running at $24.99 right now on Total Wine and More. $24.99, but I bought it last year at Total Wine and More in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for $17.49. True story, $17.49. You'll see it here and there. It's not ubiquitous, but you'll see it here and there. Bulleit Rye, you pretty much find that anywhere that sells rye whiskey, which would be most liquor stores. Okay. James B. Beam Distilling Company. You can look on that website, James B. Beam Distilling Company. Aged in new charred white oak barrels to 90 proof. Well, in order to be called a rye whiskey, it must be aged in new charred oak barrels. So that's sort of like a redundant statement to put on the bottle because that's the law. A distinctly dry spiced rye with a long soft finish, making this classic all-American spirit the perfect choice for any whiskey cocktail. Charred white oak. Does it have to be white oak? No, it doesn't. It can be any oak. Water oak, swamp oak, live oak, but companies generally use live oak. They claim it doesn't give it any weird off flavors. But now they're starting to experiment with Mitsunara, Japanese oak, French oak, Mongolian oak, and so forth. I'd like to see them try these American oak varieties like Louisiana whiskey or anybody's whiskey aged in swamp oak or water oak, as they call it, or live oak trees. Okay, Beam Whiskey Run. Time honored recipe. Since 2015, So it was introduced in 2015, the new and improved green label to replace the old yellow label. Now, if I see the yellow, make sure I got the right text. If I see the yellow label, the 80 proof, I'm pretty sure it's 80 proof. Would I buy it? Well, yeah, of course I buy it. Don't think I'll ever see it, but I'll keep my eyes open. Real cork here. So the price, let's just say they're the same because these prices will vary store to store. So when you're talking about $2 and 20 cents, you got to be careful. We're just going to say they're the same price. Cheapest rye I can get in Louisiana at this present time. The cheapest rye I can find in Louisiana at the current moment is Sazerac rye. Nice clear copper, right? Which is invariably on discount somewhere, usually for $18.99. Just looking to add pages. Oh, Supardo's got it for $18.99. Go get me a bottle. I did that, so I have the bottle's at least half full. Yeah, rye whiskey is pretty competitive around here. There's a lot of brands. This is going to close us out on the rye whiskey challenges. I think I covered everything. If I overlook something, I'll backtrack. I don't believe I have, but it's within the realm of possibility. But I'm thinking I don't. Oh, I just caught myself. I did those 2 Canadian ryes, right? The Hunter Rye, which is good. No, it didn't really compete too well. And the Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye. But I just realized it. I haven't done the Alberta Premium, which I think is 100% rye from used to be made by no, I'm thinking of Windsor Canadian. Windsor got sold. That's right. They got sold to Princeton, Minnesota company. Although it still made it the same distillery, they just sold the brand rights and the recipe to them for whatever reason. Yeah, Alberta Rye is from Alberta Distillers. Alberta Premium from Alberta Distillers. It's an old brand. Okay, I have to bring. It's only 80 proof though. I have to bring that one in. Forgot about it. I'm sorry, I just forgot. I kept seeing it on the shelf and I'm thinking Canadian blended whiskey. Well, yes and no. It is a blended whiskey, but it's a blend of rye whiskeys, 100% rye whiskey. So, oh man, that was a screw up. Oh well, we started with Canada. We'll finish with Canada. You say, oh, Canada. That's right. Oh, Canada. Then next week, so we'll close this week out Saturday because this is going to count for Friday today. I'm pretty sure. And then next week we'll deal with bourbon. And oh, I got some bourbon on the roster. Oh, too much. By the time I finish with that series, I'll be so sick of bourbon I won't even want to smell it. But then, then after a few months I'll be wanting it again. But yeah, I'm glad I caught myself. Alberta Premium. Boy, I'd have felt silly. Okay. So the appearance is the same. The price is basically the same. The proof is the same, 90 proof, 45% alcohol. Age statement, the same in the sense that they're both at least 4 years old because there's no age statement on the bottles. So by virtue of the law, by default, they're both at least 4 years old. The youngest whiskey in this blend, either one would be 4 years old, which is decent, mid-range, low mid-range. All right. One is from Kentucky and one is from Indiana. And they, across the river from each other, are separated by the Ohio River. With different backgrounds, right? Indiana is a descendant of the Northwest Territories, an old British territory that was acquired by the United States at the Paris Treaty. Yikes, I hadn't started drinking yet. The Treaty of Paris, sorry about that. the Treaty of Paris, 1783, which the British had to give up all land east of the Mississippi River to the United States. And that included the Northwest Territory, which was organized with the Northwest Ordinance of 1785, and I think there was a later ordinance, and was designed so that all of that area could be settled in an organized fashion and divided up into new states. Ohio being the first one in 1803, and then they started adding states: Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, and much later Minnesota. One provision is that slavery would not be allowed in any of those areas, which didn't bother the southern states. They didn't really care because they weren't going to run it anyhow. It didn't matter to them. Some of the states had to give up their land. They had claims to it, but they agreed. Connecticut agreed to give up the territory out there that now is, a lot of it is in Ohio. It's called the Western Reserve. It was reserved for Connecticut. They said, we'll give it up. And that's why you got Western Reserve University out there. And then Kentucky was an extension of Virginia, remember? Virginia claimed all the land south of the Ohio and west to the Mississippi River, but they said, okay, we'll let it become a new state, Kentucky, 1792. And then North Carolina gave up their claims to Tennessee, and that became a state also in the 1790s, and so forth. All right. Smells like standard rye. And back then, rye whiskey was a big deal, and it's still a big deal. But then bourbon superseded it, becoming more and more popular with the corn production and all of that. Or maize if you live in Europe. Nice sweet aroma here, but not as much of a rye, not as bold of aroma. So let's see if I can guess on aroma only. Full nose. Not such a full nose. So this is preliminary. This is not an official guess. This is a preliminary guess. I think unofficially this is the Bulleit, and that's the Bulleit and Jim Beam. But I'm not sure because I got to taste them. But I'm pretty sure, but I'm not quite sure. So one good thing about whiskey is you can learn about history, geography, even politics. So and government. So it's like an educational tool if you want it to be, if you're open-minded and you want to learn, which I am and I do. Of course, South Carolina and Georgia, those two states gave up their claims to the Mississippi River, all the way to the Mississippi River, and that was organized into the Southwest Territory, which did allow slavery. And the plan there was to let that become new states, which became Alabama and Mississippi. All right. Well, let's see here. Both sugary sweet in a sense. Whiskey to me tastes like sugar water in a general sense. Now, specifically, what do these taste like? Got a lot of rye here. That mentholated, minty thing. Yeah. Medium bodied, mild, mellow, easygoing finish, medium, long finish. Yeah. Quintessential classic American rye whiskey, which they usually come in at 90 proof. It's not a rule. It's just what the companies tend to do with it. Now, can you get 80 proof ryes? You certainly can. Are they a little less bold? Yeah, you could say they're dull if you want to. Maybe a little bit. They're pleasant, though. There's a Wild Turkey 81 proof rye, 40.5% alcohol. I'd like to try it. Haven't yet. Plan to down the road at some future opportunity. Now my friend David said, don't even waste your time on that 81. Go straight to the 101. Well, I'm interested in wasting my time on the 81 Wild Turkey Rye, and then I'll elevate to the 101 Rye, and maybe even later to the Rare Breed Rye. But it's only so many days in a week, right? Golly, these are quite similar. They're only 4 years apart in their introduction date, 2011 and 2015. They're the same alcohol level and they're similar aging. So boy. Now, this put the C in challenge. This is a challenge here. Let me tell you. Well, that's good. That's what it should be, a challenge. You don't want everything to be a one-sided affair where one of them just runs away with the show. Of course, it helps you get it right. You know what I mean? You can say, look, I got it right again. Doesn't always work out like that, though, when they're so similar. Tell you one thing. I wouldn't pay a penny more one over the other. So if you stopped me cold and said, you got to make a choice, which one do you choose? I would say I choose both. Because you say, well, would you like lighter green or the forest green? You know, the grass green or the forest green? You know, it comes down to that. It's like, I would say, give me either one because they're going to cost you the same money. It's going to cost you the same amount of money and they're going to taste, practically the same. So if somebody's up there on the internet talking about, oh man, let me tell you what, Bulleit Rye is so much better than Beam Rye. Oh, really? I would challenge that person. I would say, well, how about this? You being a brilliant expert, you could make a video where you do a blind taste test and tell us which is which. Since you just stated they're clearly different and the Bulleit is clearly better, let's do it. Do the exercise. Now, I haven't seen that happen. I'm doing the taste challenge. I'd like to see other people do it. Blind, of course, blind taste tests. Not this way you're looking at the bottles, talking about, oh, look. You know, no. That tells me nothing. I mean, it tells me things, it doesn't tell me anything important. It's just like, well, you looked at the two and you tasted and you gave me remarks about it. It's very nice, but I like to see the blind taste test. So, what a mess here. Okay. This one seems sweeter, more sugary. And I'm thinking that's got to be the Jim Beam because it's probably got less rye and it's got other filler whiskey. And what I don't mean that in a negative way, but I mean filler whiskey that's not the rye showcase because it's a rye whiskey. So the rye is the showcase, right? So the filler would be things like wheat whiskey or barley malt whiskey or corn whiskey, you know. Of course, you know, beer has filler in it. American beer is usually corn or rice. Barley is going to take the lead on the flavor, give it the bread flavor, and the hops will give it different nuances, various whatever hops they want to use, usually from the Pacific Northwest. Although I think Budweiser brings in some Saaz hops from Moravia in Europe, but the corn or rice would be mostly like a neutral product, neutral grain, because they don't want the flavor to come from those. They're just using it as a fermentable product, so they could turn it into alcohol as a filler. Like with, like with whiskey, the grain whiskey, like an Irish whiskey, the grain whiskey is really used to just give it body. It's a neutral character. They want the flavor to come from the single malts. And with these, they want the flavor coming from the rye whiskeys. They don't want it to taste like corn. They don't want it to taste like wheat. They don't want it to taste like uh, um, barley, barley, pearl barley, or whatever. No, I mean, they want it to taste like rye. So they both have the minty character, but I think this one has more. So I think it's the Bulleit, and we're going to reveal it right now, just about now. Lothrop says, love both. I know, I do too. You and I are in the same boat on this one because they are good. Oh, so very good. But maybe the Bulleit is a little bit better. But it's so close. I wouldn't pay a penny for the difference. I wouldn't do it. Oh, how you feel played? I don't really feel played because I just spent 20 minutes talking about how they're almost identical. What? Yeah. Hey, you know what? How you like those preseason NFL games? You want to talk about that? Oh, how about Otani? He got a home run last night. Maybe he's getting back in action. I could try to misdirect you, but I did get it wrong. I said this was the Bulleit, but it's the Jim Beam because I said it has more rye character. Oh well. Don't share this video with your friends and family because we don't want people to. We'll just keep it between us, you and me. Keep it quiet that I got it wrong because no one needs to know. We can keep it on a down low. No one needs to know. Okay. Well, okay. So we're gonna close it out with an overlook. I don't mean the Overlook Hotel. I just mean. That I overlooked something. That was the Alberta Premium. I'll go get the bottle. Would anyone like to see what the bottle looks like? Claude Diamond says, "Isn't it great to have a job you love?" It is. And I have a job that I usually like, at least, but I don't hate it. But it's easy work, Claude Diamond says, "Great reviews. Thank you." Bulleit is a quality product. Yes, it is, but in this case, I got it wrong, and the Jim Beam Rye won. So maybe Jim Beam's better. Yeah, last chance. If you want to see what the Alberta Premium bottle looks like, let me know now, or I'm getting out of here because I got I don't really have too much to do, but today's a quiet day, but I'll show you the last rye whiskey in the kitty, and then it's on to bourbon. Good old bourbon. So I'll show it to you going once. I'll show it to you going twice. Gone. Oh well. You can look up Alberta Premium on the internet, image search. You'll see that unique bottle design from way out in Alberta, Canada, in the prairie lands right close to the mountain. Oh, let's see. Okay, you didn't really catch it in time, but we'll give an exemption. Here it is, Alberta Premium. Turn the lamps off so you can get a better view of it. See that unique glass, molded glass? Yeah, this runs about $24.99. So same price as the last two I just finished with. It's from Canada, but Mathern's got one bottle in. They got one bottle in stock. And I saw that. I said, "Oh, look, Alberta Premium." And I know they got it at Total Wine. So then I was like, I ain't paying $24.99. I got enough rye. I'll just wait. I'll buy it eventually. I'll just wait. So then one day, I guess they got tired of looking at it, so they stuck it in the discount basket for $14.99. And when I saw that price, I was like, I guess I'll be buying Alberta Premium today. And that's exactly what happened. $14.99, and it was the regular price $24.99. Now, one of the viewers was like, I can't wait for you to do the review, and he was all excited. And then I reviewed it, and I was like, well, it's good, but it's not great. It's kind of bland, saying like it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. But he was enraged. He was enraged, and he kept sending me these messages about how incompetent I was, and I didn't know whiskey, and I had a horrible group on Facebook, and basically I was like a terrible person. After I said that this was just good, because he said it was his favorite whiskey, I said, well, I don't get on the internet to be miserable. I made alcohol legs, that Facebook group, to have a good time, and everybody can show what they're drinking, and it's fun, and we talk about it. I didn't get on here to hear somebody complaining and telling me all these negative things. I'm just saying that, And then I said, and he was going on and on about, I said, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. And then he was like, I'll show you, or something like, haha, I'll show you. He unfriended me and blocked me. I was like, oh, can I count on that? And I like to be fair-minded, and I'm an easygoing person. I get along with pretty much everybody, but what I've said in the past, except for volatile people and fanatics, I can't get along with fanatics and volatile people because they're fanatical and volatile. That's usually the reason. And I'm like even keel, quiet, calm, quiet, fly straight, low profile, just take it easy. So when you're calm and collected and have your head together and you're dealing with somebody who's volatile, wound up, flying off the handle, and otherwise ill-disposed, there's going to be conflict. But I'm not here to entertain your conflicts. All right. But beyond that, this is all right. $24.99, I wouldn't pay it. I wouldn't do it. But $14.99 on discount, sure. I was happy I was happy like a dude who was happy. Imported by Alberta Distillers Limited. Oh, right. Sure. Of Chicago, Illinois, product of Canada. So it's produced in Canada, but it's bottled in the USA. But that's fine. I don't mind. 100% rye. This is the only rye I own. True story, though. This is the only rye whiskey I own that is 100% rye. But unfortunately, it's only 80 proof, and it comes across a little bland. Now you're saying, well, maybe they used 100% bland rye. Yeah, that's the impression I get. But it's fine. I don't have any animosity towards it. I know there's a much more expensive version of this. It's like $65, not $24.99, or in my case, $14.99. But Louisiana has very different alcohol prices. But there's like a $70 bottle of this, $65, $70. It's like a barrel proof. It's really expensive. But I never saw it, and I wouldn't pay that kind of money anyway. So that's the story on that. All right, last comments, and then we getting on out of here. Let's see. Going shopping, going to the shopping store, gonna get groceries. Okay, Claude Diamond says, going shopping today for Crown Royal Apple. Oh boy, that's so popular. That's got to be the most popular apple flavored whiskey in the world, right? Is there another more popular one? I don't believe there is. But there's a lot of competitors, but they're not as popular. That's going to be a winner. That's going to cost you about $26. Just turned on the broadcast, says Daryl, watching on a big screen today. Oh, thank you. Nice bottle. Oh, yeah, it is a nice bottle. Lothrop says, Michener's Rye is awesome, too. Yes, that's on my to buy list. Burley Sullivan says, Yep, it's been a great video. Butch Willie says, I appreciate you getting back to me on Louisiana weather. You found it odd, I'm sure. No, I didn't find that comment odd at all. I found it interesting, but I didn't think anything was odd about it. Barrel Seagrass Rye is my favorite. $90 though. Burrell, what are you saying? Burrell Seagrass Rye. Oh, I don't think you'll ever see that on my channel. Ron for president. I would like to be the president of the United States, but unfortunately, I don't have any political support and I have no appreciable amount of money to do it. I have a great platform. I should make a video series called If I Was President, and then I'll let people ask. I was thinking about this, but then I said people would think it was droll or like I was kidding around or it was like I was crazy, you know, but I thought it would be a good exercise in helping people think about topics. But I was going to say, like, if I was the president and then you asked a question and then I'll give an answer, like whatever topic, doesn't matter. But then some people get angry. You see, that's the problem. Some people will be like, I love your channel, man. I want to be your friend on Facebook. I'm like, okay, what do you think about, let's think of something, insurance regulations. And then I say, well, this is what I think about the government regulating insurance. Oh, and then they go crazy, you know. You're a running dog lackey of the capitalist robber barons and like some screed. And I'm like, you asked me a question and I gave you an answer. And you just said you adored my channel. And then they, you know, it's very strange to deal with people like that. I'm glad you found it interesting. I did find it interesting. Butch, Claude Diamond says the world would be a better place with you running things. Would be a better place. And I would like to be a warrior king. If I was the warrior king of the world, I would help everyone. I would tolerate any opinions people had, as long as they did not violate my imperial humility. And if they did not recognize my imperial humility speaking, then I might be forced to burn their eyes out because of my humble enragement. But you understand, people say, so what you're saying is if you became the emperor of the world, you'd go mad. No, I told the Senate, I'm sorry, the Senate told me, they contacted me and said they would pass any law that I proposed without question. I said, what if I go mad? No response. Okay, I wish you would have published that book you wrote. I would have read it. Oh, you're talking about right-wing political solutions? I have sort of published it through the videos. Got to go to work. Have a great Louisiana day. You too, Claude. Have a great Colorado day in cool Colorado. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for watching this interesting but rather difficult taste challenge. And I'm coming back on Saturday morning, God willing, Saturday morning, and we're going to do a Canadian Classic Alberta Premium versus Bulleit Rye to close out the Rye series. But I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you ahead of time. I'm afraid to report that the Alberta Classic does not stand a chance, and it cannot win. It cannot win. You watch, you'll see. It will not win. It's an impossibility. It cannot happen. But I'll still do the exercise for the, to do the completion of the series, and then we'll be off to bourbon. And I have a feeling that Davies County is incredible. This double mash bill product, sour mash, is going to annihilate all the competition. And I said, yeah, you heard me right. All the competition. I don't think they stand a chance. Well, maybe the Kings County bourbon, from Brooklyn might battle. Yes, well, that could be a battle. All right, but otherwise it won't be much of a challenge. Davies County bourbon is outstanding, says Lothrop. Oh, and and look, when I tell you the price, when it comes up Sunday, and I tell you what I paid for that bottle, you'll either be you'll either be in admiration or you'll be angry from jealousy and envy. Hey, but look, don't be jealous of me. I didn't make the price. I was at the store. I'm looking in the discount basket, and they got it for this price. What do you think? I'm not gonna buy it? The answer is, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Yeah, Davies, Ray Davies nuts, sunflowers. Hey, can't be mad. Someone is a good shopper. I agree, but some people get angry. They get jealous. Like, I never understood that. I never could understand that. People being jealous. Like, look at him with that wife. Look how pretty she is. She got him. She loves him for his money. Well, you don't know she loves him for his money. Maybe she's just not interested in you because you're not interesting. She likes him. Why you jealous? Your wife is, well, okay, I understand why you're jealous. Anyway, I wish I could trip over some of these deals you come across. I know. I wish everybody could, but I guess I'm in a special zone, a special pricing zone, which I'm very pleased about. All right, y'all take care now. Thanks for watching. Bye bye, folks. So long, folks.